Have you ever looked at someone and thought, how do they do it? How do they push through failure, learn from it, and come back even stronger, like nothing can break them? Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I stood at a crossroads in my life. I was facing what felt like an insurmountable failure, something that made me question my worth, my ability, and even my future. I remember staring at a blank wall, feeling stuck, drained, and defeated. Everything I had worked for had fallen apart, and all I could think was, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But something shifted, not overnight, but gradually, painfully, and eventually, powerfully. It wasn't a new job, or a mentor, or even a stroke of luck. It was a shift in mindset. You see, the stories we tell ourselves shape the limits of our reality. If you believe you're not smart enough, not talented enough, or not lucky enough, then that belief becomes your ceiling. But what if I told you that the real barrier between who you are and who you could be is your mindset? Mindset is more than just a buzzword. It's the lens through which we interpret every challenge, every failure, every success, and more importantly, how we respond to them. It governs the way we set goals, how we pursue them, and whether we believe we're capable of achieving them at all. Psychologist Carol Dweck, one of the leading researchers in this space, describes two main types of mindset: a fixed mindset and the growth mindset. A fixed mindset is rooted in the belief that our intelligence, talents, and abilities are static, that we are either born with certain skills or we're not. People with this mindset often avoid challenges, fear failure, and seek constant validation to prove their worth. On the other hand, a growth mindset is grounded in the belief that our abilities can be developed, that failure isn't a reflection of our worth, but a step toward mastery. Those who embrace a growth mindset see challenges not as threats, but as invitations to grow. In this video, we're going to dive deep into the psychology behind mindset. We'll explore how self-limiting beliefs hold us back, and how shifting your perspective can unlock your true potential. You'll learn how to cultivate a mindset that not only overcomes obstacles, but thrives because of them. Because the truth is this: your potential isn't predetermined, it's unlocked, and the key is your mindset. Let's start by looking inward. When was the last time you hesitated to try something new because you thought, I'm just not good at that? Or avoided a challenge for fear of looking stupid, failing, or being judged? That quiet voice inside, whispering doubt, that's the voice of a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset assumes that your abilities are set in stone. If you're naturally good at something, great, you'll shine. But if you're not, then it's better not to try at all. Because failure in this mindset is a threat to identity. It doesn't just say you failed, it screams you are a failure. People with fixed mindsets often avoid challenges, preferring to stay in their comfort zone, give up easily, especially when things get hard, see effort as fruitless, believing that talent should come naturally, ignore feedback, taking it as criticism rather than opportunity, feel threatened by others' success because it highlights their own perceived inadequacy. This mindset can quietly sabotage our potential. We stop raising our hands, we stop applying for roles, we stop trying to grow, not because we're incapable, but because we're afraid of confirming our deepest fear, that we're not enough. But here's where it gets interesting. The growth mindset offers a radically different story. It says, you are not a finished product. Your brain is not fixed. Your skills, intelligence, and potential can be cultivated through effort, learning, and persistence. Those with a growth mindset embrace challenges because they know that struggle is a path to mastery. Persist in the face of setbacks, viewing failure as feedback, not as a dead end. Value effort, understanding it as the vehicle of progress. Learn from criticism, welcoming it as guidance toward improvement. Find inspiration in others' success, using it as motivation rather than comparison. Neuroscience backs this up. Studies on brain plasticity have shown that our brains can rewire themselves in response to experience, effort, and learning. Intelligence is not static, it's dynamic. Like a muscle, it grows stronger the more we use it. And this shift in mindset doesn't just impact learning, it transforms how we live. When you adopt a growth mindset, failure is no longer something to fear. It becomes information, it becomes momentum, it becomes a stepping stone. This doesn't mean you won't feel discomfort or doubt or frustration, but it does mean you'll meet those feelings differently. Instead of asking, "What's wrong with me?" you'll start asking, "What can I learn from this?" That single question changes everything. And perhaps the most empowering truth of all is this: mindset is not fixed. Even if you've spent years with a fixed mindset, you can learn to shift it. Just like any other habit or belief system, this is where real transformation begins. Imagine this: you hit a wall, a major setback, the kind that would normally stop you cold, make you question everything. But this time, something is different. Instead of retreating into self-doubt or blame, you pause, breathe, and ask, "What is this here to teach me?" That is the beginning of unlocking your true potential. A growth mindset doesn't just help you feel better about failure, it fundamentally changes how you interact with life. It rewires your relationship with difficulty. And that shift, that's what empowers you to go further than you ever thought possible. Let's break it down. Resilience and perseverance. In life, you will face rejection, disappointment, dead ends. That's inevitable. What's not inevitable is how you respond to them. A fixed mindset sees these setbacks as signs to stop, signals that you've reached your limit. But a growth mindset sees them as tests of commitment, opportunities to adapt, to evolve. People with a growth mindset build emotional resilience. They bounce back, not because they don't feel pain, but because they believe they can grow through it. They trust that effort compounds, that persistence over time creates results. Think about some of the most successful people in history. Thomas Edison made thousands of failed attempts before inventing the light bulb. J.K. Rowling was rejected by multiple publishers before Harry Potter found its home. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. What made them great wasn't talent alone. It was the mindset that failure was part of the journey, not the end of it. Motivation and passion for learning. When you believe that growth is possible, learning becomes addictive. Every challenge is a puzzle. Every mistake is feedback. Every setback is a setup for your next breakthrough. People with a growth mindset develop what psychologists call grit, a blend of passion and perseverance that fuels long-term goals. They don't just work hard, they work smart, adapt, iterate, and keep going when others give up. This mindset turns learning into a way of life. Whether it's mastering a new skill, building a career, or healing old emotional wounds, the belief that you can grow makes the process itself meaningful. And when the process becomes meaningful, the outcome becomes inevitable. Creativity and innovation. A fixed mindset fears being wrong. It craves certainty, and as a result, it often avoids risk. But creativity requires risk. Innovation requires getting it wrong again and again until you stumble onto something extraordinary. The growth mindset creates psychological safety to experiment, explore, and fail forward. It opens the door to fresh ideas, unconventional paths and breakthroughs that can only happen when you're willing to try without knowing exactly how it will work. That's why many of the world's most innovative thinkers, scientists, artists, entrepreneurs, credit their success not just to talent, but to the freedom to fail. When you stop needing to be perfect, you finally give yourself permission to be great. Unlocking your potential doesn't mean never doubting yourself. It means knowing that doubt doesn't define you. It means understanding that effort isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of growth. And the more you lean into that truth, the more unstoppable you become. Now that we've uncovered how powerful the growth mindset truly is, the next question is, how do you build it? Mindset isn't something you either have or don't. It's a practice, a habit, a conscious choice you make every single day. So, here are some practical, science-backed ways to start cultivating a growth mindset in your own life. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth start by shifting how you interpret difficulty. When you face a challenge, your first instinct might be to avoid it or procrastinate. That's your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. But growth only happens when you lean into resistance, not run from it. Reframe the challenge. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, try asking, what can I learn here? How will this help me grow? This single shift in language helps rewire your response from fear to curiosity. Over time, it becomes your default way of thinking. Learn to love feedback. Let's be honest, feedback can sting, but that sting isn't a sign to shut down. It's a mirror. It shows you what's working and what's not, and that clarity is invaluable. Start seeing feedback, especially the uncomfortable kind, as a gift. It's not about your worth, it's about your growth. A simple practice. When receiving feedback, respond with, thank you. What can I do to improve? That one sentence shifts your posture from defensiveness to openness, and it invites collaboration rather than criticism. Celebrate small wins. One of the most overlooked tools for building a growth mindset is recognizing progress. We tend to only celebrate big milestones, but real transformation happens in the small daily efforts, showing up, trying again, pushing through discomfort, asking for help. Track your wins. Every night, jot down 3 small things you did that day that reflect growth. Maybe you spoke up in a meeting. Maybe you tried something new. Maybe you failed, but didn't spiral into self-doubt. Each small win is a vote for your future self. Practice the not yet mindset. When you catch yourself saying, I'm not good at this, add one word, yet. I haven't figured this out yet. I'm not confident speaking publicly yet. I haven't hit that goal yet. This tiny tweak creates space for growth. It reminds your brain that your current state is temporary, not permanent. Not yet is a doorway to possibility. Surround yourself with growth-minded people. Environment matters. If you're constantly around people who play it safe, fear failure, or criticize effort, it will be harder to grow. Seek out those who challenge you to be better. People who are vulnerable enough to fail and strong enough to keep going. People who believe that transformation is possible. Their mindset will rub off on you, and your mindset will begin to shape them too. Speak to yourself like someone you're coaching. Inner dialogue shapes outer action. If your internal voice is harsh, critical, or shaming, your mindset will shrink to match. Start talking to yourself like you would talk to a friend or a student you're mentoring. Be honest but kind. Encourage progress. Point out effort. Offer grace. You're not perfect. You're a work in progress, and that's exactly what you're supposed to be. A growth mindset isn't built in a day. It's built in the moments you choose belief over fear, learning over judgment, effort over perfection, and the more you practice, the more it becomes part of who you are. Let's come full circle. Behind every person who's achieved something meaningful, whether it's starting a business, healing from trauma, writing a book, or simply showing up for themselves each day, there's one common thread. They believed they could grow. They didn't always have the answers. They didn't always feel ready, but they leaned into the discomfort, trusted the process, and kept going anyway. A real-world story. Let me tell you about a woman named Sarah. She spent years stuck in a job that drained her, convinced she wasn't capable of anything more. I'm not creative, she'd tell herself. I'm just average. But something shifted when she started learning about mindset. She began to notice how often she avoided challenges, how her inner voice defaulted to fear. So she made a commitment to herself to try something different. She signed up for a night class in design. The first assignment, she bombed it. But this time, she didn't quit. She rewrote the story. She said, I don't know how to do this yet. Months passed. She kept going, learning, failing, trying again. Fast forward 2 years, and Sarah is now running a small freelance design business. But more than the career, change. It's her internal world that transformed. She sees challenges differently. She sees herself differently. And that's the real reward of a growth mindset. Not just achievement, identity. Not just reaching goals, becoming someone who believes in their ability to grow. Your journey starts now. This isn't just about psychology, it's about possibility. Right now, you may be facing your own walls, self-doubt, fear, uncertainty. But remember, your mindset is the lens through which you see the world and yourself. And you get to adjust that lens. Every day, you get to ask, what story am I telling myself right now? Is it helping me grow or keeping me small? And if I believed I could get better, what would I do differently? Start small. Start messy. Start now. So here's your challenge. In the next 24 hours, do one thing that stretches you, one thing that feels uncomfortable but points toward the person you want to become. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation. Maybe it's applying for something you've been afraid of. Maybe it's simply changing how you speak to yourself. Whatever it is, choose growth. And if this message resonated with you, I want to hear your story. Drop a comment below. What challenge are you facing right now? How are you going to approach it differently with a growth mindset? Let's make this a space where we grow together. Because when you change your mindset, you change your life. And when you change your life, you inspire others to do the same. You're not stuck, you're just getting started. So grow forward. See you in the next video.